In this week's Parsha, we have a family reunion of epic proportions. Jacob, Yaacov, is about to go back to the land of Israel and encounter his brother Esau, Eisav. They have a messy family history at best. Their mother Rivka wisely saw that Eisav was not going to step up into the role of the firstborn and carry the spiritual destiny of the Jewish people, and therefore she knew that her son Yaacov needed to receive these blessings from their father Isaac. Yaacov had to go and put on the clothing of Eisav, take on his spiritual role. Now, Yaacov is Yaakov Ish Tam. He's simple, whole, pure, sincere. He's someone who deals with light. Eisav is someone who knows how to wrestle with darkness. When Yaakov goes to his father Isaac, pretending to be his brother Eisav, and he puts on those clothing and he says to his father, "I'm Eisav." He's acknowledging that now there's a part of him that is Eisav. There's this inner darkness that he is now forced to wrestle with it before, just as his own destiny of Yaakov, he wouldn't have had to deal with. In this week's Parsha, right before they're reunited, Yaakov is visited by the angel of Eisav, who comes and wrestles him the entire night. Daybreak comes, and the angel wants to leave, and Yaakov won't let him go. Yaakov says, "I won't let you go until you bless me." What? Why would he want Esav's angel to bless him? We all have an Eisav aspect of our life, inner darkness that we struggle with. Perfectionism, self-esteem, other people in our life, and the voices they create in our minds. And it's so easy to feel like this darkness, this struggle, it derailed my life. I was supposed to just be Yaakov Ish Tam, a simple, whole, pure life of light. Why do I have to go into these darknesses? God, why do I need this trauma? There's another struggle. Why do I need to deal with this? We could feel so much like our life is just being derailed by this darkness. And yet Yaakov is able to stand there and say, "Bless me. I'm not letting you go until you show me how all of this journey of struggling with Esau, this was really for me. This was for my own highest benefit." We're able to look at our trauma and our pain and the darkness that we've wrestled with and say, "Bless me." Say, "God, show me how this was for me, how this was all for my benefit, to bring me to my essence, not to crush me, but to reveal my most authentic, whole self." And in this moment, we can look at Yaakov's life and we can see, whoa, if he was just going to live the life of Yaakov, his life would have looked so different. He didn't just marry Rachel, he also married Leah, who was the soulmate of Eisav, right? He stepped into the spiritual responsibilities of Eisav. And therefore he was able to father all 12 of the tribes. And if Eisav wasn't in his life, he wouldn't have been robbed by Esav's son Eliphaz, who took all his money, and therefore instead of being able to pay the dowries for his wife, he had to work for so many years. And that meant living in the house of Lavan, who was constantly deceiving him and tricking him, and just being around that moral corruption, yet having to remain that whole, fearsome Yaakov. That really showed him that I can be Yaakov Ish Tam, I can be this whole person and mix all of this moral decrepity. And we can see how this was not here to crush Yaakov. This wasn't here to derail him from his spiritual path. This was his direct path to the divine. And we can look at our own Esavs that we've wrestled with in our life and say, "I'm not letting you go until you bless me." And yes, there's a time to just let it go and move on and build a life. But there comes a moment when we can say to it, "Bless me. I don't just want to just wrestle with it. I want to get to this place of transcendence." And what happens is that the angel of Eisav blesses Yaakov to get the name Israel. And Rashi, the famous commentator on the Torah, tells us that this means that those blessings he received from his father, even though they had to be done in such a deceitful way, right? He had to step into the role of Eisav, which is all about deceit and darkness and lies. And he had to step into that role, and so therefore it looked like the blessings came in such a non-Yaakov-like way, that now it would be clear to everyone that those blessings he received were done with nobility and openness, that he was stepping into this role for God. And so in the very moment that he not runs away from his pain and says, "Oh, I wish I never had to take on the role of Eisav," but he owns it. He owns it. He has to wrestle with the darkness. He owns his life. He not just owns it, he wants to see the blessings in it. In the exact moment he gets to name Israel, he steps into a level of transcendence. So in that moment we look at the things we've had to wrestle with in life. And we say, "Bless me. God, show me how this is here to be my most authentic self." In that moment, we step into the level of Israel, that moment of absolute transcendence.